All right. Good morning. Uh, I'm not sure why my Facebook Live did not want to load this morning, but that's okay. I figured I can use Zoom. There's so many different technologies nowadays, so we're going to run with this, and I'll play with it a little later and see what I can do for tomorrow because it's a little bit trickier. So Zoom to Facebook Live is a little bit trickier for me to respond in the moment to questions or posts. So I just looked and I have my live up, like I can see if you comment, but it doesn't pop up. Whereas if you're doing straight live, the comment will pop up and you can see it a little differently. So this will be a fun week of learning more tech tricks and so on and so forth. So awesome. I just wanted to first say welcome everyone to live. You get a lot more momentum from these types of live workshops when you can actually watch the live and feel the energy directly from me. I've noticed for me when I'm participating in a workshop or a live that's going on at the moment, it's like I'm there, I'm in it, I'm part of what's going on. And when I watch later, it feels like I'm watching a video. So I would just like to congratulate you if you are live right now watching this, and don't feel bad if you're catching the recording later. That's totally fine. And tomorrow I will be on at 9 a.m. again. So you can plan tomorrow 9 and then the rest of the week noon Eastern Daylight Time. I think we're in Daylight Time, not Standard Time, but either way, Eastern Time. And then Saturday there's a Q&A call at noon. So yeah, that's the schedule for this week. And basically this workshop is about transforming your stress into ease. I'm going to go through some basics from Ayurveda that have really changed my life. And just so you know, I'm going back and forth between these two screens so that I can look directly at you. So if you're yay, hi Roy. If you're on one screen and I'm looking away, it's because I got two cameras I'm looking at. So sorry about that. All right, so my first advice is try to be here live. Okay, so what I did is I made a workbook, a worksheet that you can fill out as you go to really help you ground some of these teachings, to really learn the basics of Ayurveda and how it can really help with reducing and eliminating stress and anxiety in your life, which is so powerful. There isn't really, Western medicine teaches what? Drugs, which really just cover up the symptoms but don't really get to the root cause. Therapy is pretty based on the past. That's very old earthy in Neve language. That's very old earthy. I just realized I'm not wearing any makeup. Oh well. What's the other thing I was gonna say? I lost my train of thought. This is why you don't look at yourself when you're when you're doing videos. Uh, oh yeah, so therapy, medication, and going to the doctor. Um, I don't know. I feel like these are kind of outdated, in my opinion, for dealing with emotions and stress and anxiety. So I came up with this workbook. So I'm going to answer the questions in the workbook. And if you don't have the workbook, just send me a message later because we have 4 more days of this workshop and you can fill in the notebook and it will really change your life. It'll really help you a lot if you're willing to be here and do it. So first, Ayurveda teaches poor digestion is the cause of all diseases and all symptoms of the body, and it is correlated with poor nutrition. So that's some of the just main teachings of Ayurveda is it's all about your digestion, how you're digesting your food, and are you eating food that has prana or energy in it? Does this food actually give you anything? Does it have any nutritional value? I like pizza and it's not the most nutritious choice. Okay. So those were 2 blanks in the first part of the worksheet. Okay, then the 4 pillars to support digestion. I see some of you are watching in the chat there. Does anybody have any ideas before I spill all the answers? Which I'm fine with doing. But yeah, what are the main things that help digestion? I know you probably have a couple ideas going through your mind. Good morning. See, this is cool. Yeah, no problem. See, I like that. It's a little hard to keep up with chats from two different, but all right, I'll go into them. So the pillars are pillar number one, I would say drinking warm water versus cold water. So digestion in Ayurveda is like the main thing, and it's fire. It's Agni, which is the Sanskrit word for this first day, is Agni. And Agni is the fire in your belly that burns the food and transforms it into energy, right? Ayurveda is so cool with elements. So in order to do that, if you drink a lot of cold water, you're basically putting out your fire all the time. So that's no good for digestion. So that would be pillar number one, in my opinion, one of the main things. Pillar number two would be meal spacing and water fasting. So it kind of goes the same with pillar one, except for it's basically no snacking. Because if you snack, then you shoot your blood sugar levels up, and snacking basically creates like a traffic jam in your stomach. So it's really best to have 2 to 3, and depending on what's going on, possibly 4 meals a day. When I first started Ayurveda, I had 3 meals a day and then a calming milk and herb mixture at night, which I made with raw milk at one point, coconut milk at one point, and almond milk at one point. So I've tried it with all kinds of different things. I don't usually have that now unless I'm feeling a lot of stress or anxiety. So anyway, pillar number one, drink warm water, not cold water. Pillar number two, meal spacing, giving your body time to rest and digest, not snacking all the time. Okay. Okay. Pillar number three, incorporating spices. Spices are the herbs of life, right? Spices is like life's medicine. Like they're sitting right there, delicious. And the fresher spices, the better. I was really blessed that somebody gave me recently parsley, sage, basil, a bunch of herbs from the garden, thyme. Oh, it makes such a huge difference when you're cooking and you put fresh spices on your food. So the 4 pillars of digestion: warm water, not cold water; meal spacing, not snacking all day, none of that 6 meals a day BS. And the third one is adding spices to your food. Spices make a huge difference. Okay. If you have any questions, just put them in either of the chats. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. So I'm watching. I'm doing my best to watch. It'll be nice soon when I have a virtual assistant helping me with this stuff. Okay. There's just a lot of tech. All right, pillar number 4. Any guesses? There's a lot of things, right, that could go in there for, like not overeating. That would be good. It's a bonus one. What I put is eat high energy foods or eat nutritional foods. Make sure that you're actually getting some diversity in your diet, some color, some different flavors and tastes. All of that is really important. So noticing the energy or the prana in food. Prana is life force energy. So looking at your food and seeing like, oh, wow, this looks super healthy or super full of energy. I know for me, when I eat like beets or greens, I'm pretty much in awe of who's sneaking up behind me. Oh, yeah, water. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sweet. I just got some more water delivered. Yay. That's awesome. So cool. All right, so high prana foods. That's where we're at. Eat high prana foods. Don't be distracted when you're eating. Distracted emotionally, distracted visually. It's so easy to be on the phone or to be catching up on a video or a podcast or something when you're eating. Like, no. That stuff on the plate's about to turn into you. It's going to affect your mind. Like, if okay, so this is an example. If I'm in a horrible mood, like I'm mad at something or I'm just annoyed or whatever, I won't eat. I won't eat the food until I switch my mood. So that's just let's bonus hack. All right. So which pillar is related to the most important digestion hack for reducing stress and anxiety? Right. So all these things are healthy for all of us. Like obviously we all need to be not distracted when we're eating food. Otherwise we won't completely digest the food. Like we might put some crappy energy in the food if we're in a crappy mood. Right. But which one of these hacks is most related to, or which one is related to the digestion hack? And for me, what I would say is the main thing I think is eating around the same times every day. If you can eat pretty much at the same time every day, that is very grounding and really helps with scattered mind, scattered emotions, scattered thoughts. So that is something I had no idea about until Ayurveda. And now I'm like, oh, it's noon. Like we're eating. So I usually do like an hour and a half, sometimes a 2-hour window where it's like, I'm going to eat in this 2 hour. I'm going to eat, cause days change, life happens. So I just do the best I can, but it makes a huge difference to eat around the same times every day. All right. So now what I want you to do, this is the kind of, we're getting towards the end of this session. Well, one is send me any messages that if you have any questions or anything that you would like me to cover or anything that that spurred some thoughts or some inspiration today. And then secondly, I have in the worksheets action step. So I want you to take one action step from something that you learned today. And that's like, if you're serious about holistically solving some of your challenges, like especially if you have stress or anxiety, like what is one of the 5, 6, 7 different things I talked about today that you can take and apply right away? Like maybe you decide, okay, today's the day I'm not going to snack, even though it's a holiday. You could do that. That might not be the easiest one, but maybe trying to drink warm water today. That could be a great action step instead of cold water. So I'll be on here tomorrow at 9 a.m., like I was saying, and then the rest of the week at noon, and we're going to go through the rest of the worksheet. So if you watch this later and you want to go through the worksheet and learn some of the stuff, this is like the basis of how I stay healthy and not stressed out, not anxious, and the way that allows me to be kind of super excited about what's going on in the planet. Like we're in Kali Yuga. I mean, it's not going to be like I knew when I reincarnated or came back to this planet, like I didn't really think that this life was going to be like rainbows and butterflies, So it's easy for me, coming from a spiritual viewpoint, to just be excited about the opportunity and the changes that are happening, because all the systems are backwards and broken anyway. So now we're making room for newer, more holistic, I think, more loving things. But all of this 5, 6, 7 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to think like this. I would have been really anxious. It's really easy for me to just feel like anxiety is creeping up at me when I go to the grocery store and everyone's wearing masks. It's kind of scary looking. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying I feel it myself, and I'm pretty grounded, and I generally have a all of space and time perspective on what's going on. So anyway, all that to say, drink warm water. I'll be back sharing more from my heart tomorrow, and loving and serving. And these basic things are huge, and they're not really taught in Western medicine or in our society. So there's definitely more gems to come, and I would love to see you live. And I'm going to try to figure out the Facebook Live thing, because my computer said I needed to update the browser, which is why I was like 3 minutes late or something. So sorry about that. I'm going to update my browser now and see what I can do. But yeah, anyway, just, I love you so much. And if you know anyone that's stressed or anxious right now, please let them know I'm doing this workshop, because it's free and it's here to serve you. And this is the stuff that I do in my program with people, and they pay lots of money for it. And this is the basics. And I don't normally do this, but I think it's such important information to get out right now. And my heart is so big. Like I care so much about everyone. And these little things have made a huge difference in my life. Really curious, what was that spark. When did you start to get spiritual? Yeah, this is so funny that you bring this up. Okay, so I'm gonna stay on Instagram, but well, now Facebook Live is probably like, well, I want to know too. Yeah, so energetically on the planet, here we go. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I know it. This is who I am, though. So what happened is energetically on the planet in 2012. That was the end of the Mayan calendar. So like there was this kind of a wave of people waking up to the fact that they're not just human, that they're not just in a physical body, that they have a spirit. And it's like we conceptually, like we knew we had a spirit before, but I think in 2012, a lot of my friends, teachers, most of my teachers started at that point, like hardcore teaching. And a lot of people like just think about what happened to you in 2012, right around there. Something probably important in your life happened. I don't know. But for me, that was when I was finishing. I got from 2011, 2012 is when I got certified as a yoga instructor. And I came from a very strong Christian background, and I still like love God and Jesus. Don't get me wrong, anyone, because I still identify as a Christian spiritual person somewhere in there. But there's a couple things I don't like about Christianity, but this is not about Christianity. You asked me about spirituality. So for me, having some really powerful meditations during my teacher training during that 2012 year, that's like one thing that really did it for me. I started to feel things that I felt like when I was in church worshiping God, like that I hadn't really felt that spiritual energy. And so I started to ask a lot of questions and investigate, and I started meditating all the time because there's a lot more there. I was actually talking to my mom about this, which was really cool. How, like, for me, the sequence of when I'm meditating and I'm not being guided in a meditation, but I'm meditating and it's just silence. First, I kind of have to collect all the different trains of thoughts I have. So if I'm thinking about, um, I'm trying to think like what I need to do that day, and then I'm thinking about my food meal plan, and then I'm thinking about, my son's purpose on the planet or whatever. When I'm having all these different thoughts, when I first start meditating, I have to like collect that. It's like an inventory of the streams of thoughts I have. And once I can get past that and I feel like, okay, I ran down this thought trail, I ran down this thought trail, all right, I've got these all, okay. There's a point where I can really relax, and then I take my gaze, and this is a super helpful tip, I think. I've been saying yoga for years, and my mom was like, hey, guess what? Anyway, you take your, she's probably going to watch this later, and I'm going to get a text or something. But you take your inner gaze to the space between your eyebrows, slightly above where your third eye is. So so right now I see the light rings of my camera because I have a little a ring light to help with so my face is not dark right on this video. So that's one train of thought. I'm like, oh, there's the different light circles that I'm seeing behind my eyelids. Okay, so once I collect all those, I can actually third eye, my eyes will relax back, and then if I stay in that space, I usually see an eye appear, and sometimes it's like a purple eye, and you start to feel oneness. So that's just like, I don't know. It's just like when I first started experiencing those things, I guess could define that as spiritual. I don't know. Spiritual, but see Eric's here too. What did you want? You wanted to ask me something recently, didn't you? I see that. I see you, and thank you. Oh, thanks, Eric. Yeah, I hope that answered your question, because I feel like yoga was kind of the gateway for me, and I was really blessed to have amazing teachers. The other thing I think is a super like gateway drug into spirituality is The Power of Now. If you listen to that book is super, super good for just starting to understand that you're not your thoughts, that the mind isn't all there is, and yoga. And actually, if you come to these workshops, one of the days I'm going to talk about the koshas a lot and basically how you can reprogram your mind. But in my mind, in my understanding and awareness of being a good coach, it's like helping people. For one, I just help people find their spirit, because that's just what I radiate. That's just my gift, is helping people connect to their spirit. But I think the other thing is, coming from yoga and Ayurveda, yeah, it's eating healthy food. Sure, it's eating food that's going to support you, but it's more about helping people reprogram their mind the way that they want. So if you're stressed and anxious and you're depressed, obviously you can't continue hating yourself or being worried about everything, or that's no good, right? You have to deal with that. So in my mind, coaching, I think, has a lot to do with helping people discover their potential and then helping them reprogram their mind if that's what they want to do. That's pretty cool, actually. I mean, I like it. Yeah. Third eye visions are, a result of prana. Yeah, for sure. So if you eat crap all the time, you probably wouldn't get that. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, just I would say mindful breath practices during the day is huge. Another thing that's huge, I mean, nature, obviously, but just any time where you can get out of your mind layer. So I'm like giving hints for the rest of this workshop, but anytime you can just not be all in your head all the time and you can be in your breath and your body, it links you to your spirit. So more on that day. Let me see, because I got it. My family is actually here because it's a holiday, so I kind of have to go. But I think that's not tomorrow, but yeah, that's on Wednesday at noon. I'm going to go into that kind of stuff. So anyways, if you want the workbook, let me know. If you have more questions, send them to me, because on Saturday, I'm just going to do a Q&A and answer a bunch of questions. So, and I really appreciate the questions that you asked on Instagram. Yeah, good. I'm glad you dropped in too. All right, everyone. I love you. It's Neve, uncensored, being real. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Very cool. Yeah, so just put in the comments if you have any questions. Oops, I'm probably still using this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. These sessions are supposed to be about 20 to 30 minutes. So if I get questions and go on spiritual tangents like I did today, then they might be a little longer. Yeah, Buddhist temples are pretty great. That's a good point, Eric. I love that. All right. I love you all. Have a great holiday if you're not working today, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll probably jump in here live later, actually, try to figuring out about this whole Facebook Live update software thing. All right.